Hello, my friend. I hope you're doing great today. I want to talk about the cycle of motivation as I covered it in episode 157 of the Mind Over Finger podcast. If you're joining me here because you heard the podcast and I said that I would show you what I'm talking about, well, welcome. If you have not listened to the episode, make sure you catch it here on YouTube or anywhere else you catch your favorite podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Overcast, it's everywhere. Or on my website, of course, mindoverfinger.com. So let's talk about the cycle of motivation. So I already talked about motivation in episode 71 of the podcast. Let's take a quick look. I'm going to pull my little board here, hoping you can see. So, cycle of motivation. As covered in episode 71, another good one to check, I talked about how motivation is the result of action. So it comes from action. So the cycle of motivation is created by actions. We take actions, we get results, and that's exciting, and then we are motivated. This is, yes, it's true, but it's sort of incomplete. And today I want to add a little bit more to this to really give you a lot of insight as to what that process really is. And from understanding this process, you're going to be able to not only understand where your motivation comes from, but I think you're going to be able to generate motivation anytime you want it and keep it going. It's a wonderful process. So let's talk about what motivation, what that cycle of motivation looks like in episode 157. So this, yes, true. But if you go back and listen to episode 153, 154, and 155 of the Mind Over Finger podcast, that's more homework, I know. I like to give those out. I introduce you to the self-coaching model, which was created by Brooke Castillo at the Life Coach School, where I was certified as a life coach. And it's an incredibly powerful tool. This is what I use to change my life. It's changing my client's life. Just an incredible tool. So in episode 153, I explained to you that our results are indeed created by our actions, but our actions are fueled by our feelings. And our feelings are always created by our thoughts. And that is always true. So I'm not talking about bodily functions such as hunger or feeling cold or being tired, needing to sleep. I'm talking about emotions, anger, joy, excitement, and yes, motivation. So if we follow this model, as I explained in episode 157, motivation is a feeling. And that's something that elusive. It's something that comes from our thoughts. Therefore, motivation cannot be created by these results. There's something here in between. So let's take this out. There needs to be a thought here. So what's happening is we take actions, we get some results, and then we have a thought about those results. This is what keeps motivation going or shatters it. Let me show you the models that I built in audio version in the podcast. So as I taught you in episode 153, we build a model this way. CTA-FR. The circumstance that I used is that, let's say it's the beginning of the year and you want to learn the 6 Bach sonatas and partitas. Your thought about this is that everything is possible. And from thinking that, you feel motivated. So you're not motivated because you are planning to learn these. You're motivated because you think it's possible. It's totally exciting. Maybe you're thinking, it's going to be so great. I've been wanting to learn these forever. I'm going to feel elated to finally have mastered these pieces. It's going to be so great for my technique. I'm going to be able to teach them. You're feeling motivated from the thought you're having about learning those. But then when you feel motivated, what do? When we're motivated, we take a lot of actions. We plan, we practice. Maybe you sign up for lessons. You read books, you look at magazines, you watch videos, you record yourself. From feeling motivated, there are a lot of things that you do. And then eventually from doing these things, you could create this result that you learn these 6. In the example I used in the episode, what happened is that you had planned to learn 3 over 2 weeks, and you learned 1 movement over 2 weeks. That's the result you created. So your thought was everything's possible. Your plan was to learn all 6 Bach sonatas and partitas. You thought everything's possible. You feel motivated. You plan, you practice, you take lessons, you do all these things. You learned 1 movement over 2 weeks. Now that is information. It's neutral. It's a fact until we have a thought about it. In episode 153, I did tell you that circumstances were always neutral and factual. So having learned 1 movement over 2 weeks, is that factual? Could you stand in front of a judge and say, 2 weeks ago, I didn't know this piece, and today, look at me, I can play it. Yes, I can play this movement. You could also say, I have not learned 2 other movements. That would also be a fact. So once something is a fact, it can become a circumstance. So oftentimes our results become our new circumstances. So let's do that. We're going to move this result here in this line here. And I just want to point out one more time that you did not feel motivated because your plan was to learn these 6. You were motivated because you thought everything is possible. It's going to be so great. I'm going to enjoy myself. It's going to be fun. This is why you were motivated, because of this thought you were having. So you've learned 1 movement over 2 weeks. Let's go here. Learned 1 movement over 2 weeks. Now, what keeps the cycle of motivation going, or what shatters it, is what you're going to think about this circumstance. Let's separate this here in 2. In the episode, I gave you 2 examples. Here's what happens if you think, I plan to learn 3, I learned 1. I'm figuring it out. Right? This is an experiment. I'm just starting. The beginning, all is fun. You think no obstacle is going to show, nothing is going to get in the way. And then you get started on your project, any project. And then life shows up. Life gets in the way. Obstacles show up. People get sick. Weather systems. Things happen. We get busy. I'm figuring it out. No big deal. I'll tweak my system. I was just experimenting. I didn't know. I didn't plan well. It's all good. No worries. So what happens when you're thinking and figuring it out, but you're still excited about the project, right? So you're still motivated and figuring it out. This is a good puzzle to solve. There's still plenty of time. I'm learning so much. Now I totally know what I can do to learn faster, or I totally know why I didn't learn faster. I'm figuring it out. So you're still feeling motivated. So from feeling motivated, you're going to tweak your plan. You're going to adjust things. You're going to keep practicing. If you didn't sign up for lessons before, maybe you'll do it. Maybe you'll hire a coach. I don't know what you're going to do, but you're going to keep doing things that will create a result for you where you will actually figure it out. You will learn more, right? You're going to move towards learning all 6 sonatas and partitas. But here's the other scenario. Now, if you're thinking, I can't do it, I don't know about you, but if I'm thinking I can't do it, I'm going to feel completely unmotivated. And what am I going to do from feeling unmotivated? Actually, I might feel like discouraged. Let's go with discouraged. I can't do it. It's more than unmotivated. We'll go with discouraged. Well, from feeling discouraged, I might like stop completely, take no action, give up, not plan for it. And then the result that you're created is that from stopping, from giving up, from not planning for it, you don't do it. Do you see that in both cases, your result made your thought come true? But it's not because of the things you did. Well, it is. You got the results because of the things you did. But it all came from this thought that you're having. So when you learn one movement over 2 weeks and you're thinking and figuring it out, no big deal, and you're still feeling motivated, you take the actions to keep moving forward with your project. And the result you're getting is that you learn more. You move towards your goal. You maintain that cycle of motivated with this thought. But here, you interrupt that cycle. With this thought, I can't do it, which makes you feel discouraged. From being discouraged, you stop taking actions and you create this result where you don't do it. So you see how it all comes to what we're thinking, to the thoughts that we're choosing to nurture. In the episode, I give you some examples of some thoughts that you could nurture, but I want to reiterate the importance of those resonating as true for you. Fake positivity will never work. So don't push for thoughts that you think you should be thinking. What could you think today that would serve you? What would be helpful? Ask yourself, how do I want to feel? What would help me feel this way? What thought would help me feel this way? Or you could ask yourself, okay, here is my plan. What do I need to do to work towards this plan? How do I want to feel to take action? What do I need to think to feel this way? So keep that in mind. The motivation will come from a thought. And you can keep fueling that cycle. So you're going to keep taking action. You're going to keep getting results. And some results are going to challenge you. What are you going to choose to think about those? So keep that in mind as you're practicing this week. Is you have within your power to generate motivation with the thoughts that you're thinking. So take a minute or more to listen to episode 157 if you haven't already. Then also listen to 153, 54, and 55 to understand more about this life coaching model that was created by Brooke Castillo at the Life Coach School. And also go back and listen to episode 71. So lots of homework this week. And mainly, I want to hear from you. Share here below if this was helpful, what your thoughts are about it, what insight this generated for you. And also join us in the Mind Over Finger community, where we're going to have more discussions on this topic, because this is a very important one. So if you're looking for more motivation, remember this. I'm going to just put it for you here one more time, is that motivation is a feeling. So you're always going to be in charge of the thought that will create this feeling for you. You will always be in control of the thought that creates this feeling for you. All right, my friends, have a great week.